It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Quinn restaurant. We're at Lincoln and Landis Avenue in Vineland, and tonight, lots of people here. Saw several friends of mine that are enjoying some delicious food at the Quinn. And before the mayor and I start the program tonight, I want to thank Paul Spinelli for filling in for us the last month, and just did a great job. Thank you so much, Paul. And he had Robert Odorizzi on with him, that you know Robert, and they were promoting the Bay Atlantic Symphony, which is going to be really is a great thing.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great show.
It really is. So tell everybody where we were Saturday night.
Oh, boy. Well, there was an event Saturday night to raise some funds for the Patriot Fund, which was an incredible organization and hosted by the folks over at Northeast Precast. And every dollar of which is raised goes directly to support the veterans. The people that run this organization do not take a fee or any type of pay, as I understand it, and they go directly right back into helping the men and women that have been affected by war, military type issues, PTSD, things of that nature, help with health care, and a variety of other needed items. And it was just a fantastic event. And they raised a significant amount of money for the cause, which was really great.
Yeah. And of course, the main person behind that was John and Lori Rugen.
That's correct. Yes.
Boy, I tell you what great people they are. What they've done for the city of Vineland with the employees, and it's interesting. It's the first time I've been in the building, but it was so neat to go in and you saw the antique cars and truck and that type of stuff that was there. Boy, I tell you, and I know you feel the same way. John Ruga, what an amazing person, what he's done. I was there when he opened in Millville 20 years ago, wherever I was the mayor, and we had a ribbon cutting. And I was impressed then because they were now they're Northeast Precast, but
Superior
Walls, thank you. Mm-hmm. What they did was they put the walls together like for a basement or anything you need. Instead of having to put it down individually, it was all put together and you just bring it in. I thought, boy, what a great thing. Then he was able to progress to Northeast Precast. And I don't know if you were telling me, but I said, wow, because all the, many of the buildings, the warehouses that are being built are using that. It makes sense. It's quicker.
Yeah.
But somebody said, Jim, go look at 295 and 42.
Oh, yeah, the walls are there. Yeah, right. Yeah. The sound walls,
Yeah, isn't that amazing? It's wonderful.
It's incredible what they've done with the business, and they should both be commended. Not only for their vision, but their passion, their work ethic, and obviously it's spinning off into the golf course now, and with him and Trouty are on their way. Yeah,
they got Tiger Woods setting it up for them. It's
absolutely incredible, and you talk about a game changer for the community.
Yeah.
Economically, the amount of jobs just in the construction side is going to be incredible. The amount of jobs thereafter and operating and running the course is going to be incredible. You hear a lot of conversation about what's going to be there and so forth. And they have so many other little facets to what are happening there. I understand they're going to be building out some professional office space out that way too, like a conference center,
that's great.
Executive center, which is going to be really neat. I know they've been working with the planning department, having these conversations as well. So we got a lot going on over there.
Sure did.
And thank goodness for them. And really just kind of steamrolling things, And the even better thing is from our perspective, you and I from government, is you've got somebody that follows the rules, goes through the process, has a great attorney on staff advising him with, Mike Freilinger, works very well with our city departments. They understand the need to work with folks that are developing, but they do it right. And that's the best part, because so many people always try to cut a corner or find a way not to abide by the law. Not this group. It's really a pleasure to work with them.
It really is. What wonderful people they are. In fact, a funny story, they took away my accountant from me.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Preziosi?
Matt Preziosi.
Yeah.
And Matt is now their CFO, I'm sure, and I'm happy for Matt. And I mean, in fact, John was his landlord, which I'm sure John gave him a great break on the building
I'm sure.
on Lincoln Avenue. But I'm happy for Matt. And fortunately, one of my neighbors, has been fabulous for me. Tony Novak, he's taken over as my accountant, so that I'm happy. But Matt was great. I really enjoyed having him for my accounting as well. So
good guy.
It is.
His dad was a great guy.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh God, I love Jimmy. Yeah. It was just sad, Jimmy went way too soon. But yeah, I was fortunate having Jimmy, and then Matt took over the practice as well. So for many years, I've had Jimmy or Matt for probably the last 10 or 15 years that I've been able to. Well, you know what? It's interesting too. Like that night, Saturday night, when you look around the room, so many good people that have contributed to the city of Vineland, to Millville, but in particular, you just see Ed Roth, like he and I were talking. What a great guy. He said he's out of the food business completely. He used to have the Denny's and he had the Bennigan's, but he's still got, he and his brother, the motels and all, and they're really nice. I mean, he has the Wingate,
the Hampton,
right, which are two of the really nice ones as well.
They do a good job.
They
good
do.
Operators. Great guys to work with again in the city. They care about the product they're putting forward to the consumer, which is important. Makes a difference.
Did you ever work on a chicken farm? No, you're too young.
No, I never did. My father did.
I did, and
he vaccinated chickens.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's how Ed Roth. His dad had a chicken farm out right past the airport in Millville.
Okay.
So they had that. My first job was working on a chicken farm, collecting eggs 7 days a week. I was 14, and the chicken farm was right across the street from me. You know what I didn't like? The rats running through the roosts. Oh, that was scary. I'd walk in there and they'd be running all over the place. And it's like,
I wouldn't care for that myself.
Like that, no, but my boss was a nice guy, and then eventually I got my real first other job was at the Acme in Millville. So did that. What was your first job?
So, ironically, my very first real job was working for my brother on construction sites.
Wow.
When I was younger, I was, not really old enough per se to be in the workforce, but, I was 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
I'd be cleaning up construction sites, when he was building houses or when he was working on commercial sites, just trying to, keep them tidy because, insurance hazards, people tripping on stuff. And then they wanted them cleaned up so the next day when they could get right into it, they were there. So I was doing that. And then as I got a little bit older, I worked at Buena Vista Country Club and worked for my brother at the same time, after school and on weekends. And, I used to clean golf clubs and golf carts and, and do the things running around a golf course at Buena Vista. And, of course, and then continued to work for my brother through high school on nights and weekends. And then, college comes and goes real quick and then you get into the workforce. But that's what I started doing. And I learned a lot on the construction sites, obviously you learn how hard it is. Lugging, cinder blocks around and doing things and finishing concrete. That's how I learned to finish concrete.
Oh, wow.
At a very young age. I can tell you my first attempt was a disaster.
Well, you had to learn.
Yeah, it was a real disaster. That concrete hardens a lot faster than people think, and it gets ahead of you. So fortunately, I had some seasoned finishers there to fix my mistakes. But that's how I learned there, and then learned how to lay block and build corners, and which was extremely difficult. And I never care to build another corner and a foundation again. Therefore, I'm going to give a commercial, commercial for Superior Walls. They are fantastic. As a matter of fact, the last spec house my brother got involved in building, I invested in and eventually sold through the business. But we used Superior Walls for the first time. And my brother said, "Oh my goodness, the ease of this is incredible. Why wasn't I doing this all along?" But
well, I don't know if he was there or yours.
Not when Rich started. Unfortunately, but it would made life a lot easier. And I'll tell you, they run a first-class operation with it.
Yeah, they do.
And once you know what you're doing with those walls, you can forget about it. They are in and up, and the foundation's done in a day.
I know, it's amazing. Thinking about having a mason coming in, laying the block, laying the brick, whatever it is, all that time.
And I'm going to tell you, the costs were very comparable.
Yeah.
Very comparable. I almost want to say maybe a pinch higher, but now with labor rates the way they've gone up, I bet you it's a saving.
I'm sure it is.
But the expediency in which you could put the foundation up and then begin, then you pour your slab for your floor, and then you could start framing, the next day. You make up all that time because it would take a week to do a simple foundation.
Sure.
Maybe 10 days in some cases, depending on the weather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Nah, forget about it. It was a great experience with that, and you know, unfortunately, my brother passed, or we would probably still be building, several homes here and there a year, as projects, and then, using those types of walls to do it.
Right.
I just don't have the time to concentrate it on anymore, being, as a mayor and running the insurance and real estate offices and the kids and, everything that just goes on in life. But yeah, I mean, it truly is an incredible product. But, and I said, how many times I lugged all those blocks around for no reason? Yeah.
Where was John when you needed him?
Yeah, I'm going to blame him later.
I got to tell you a funny story. When I was 13 and 14, I would go with my father. He hauled sand to different places.
Okay.
Basically, the sand he would haul would be for, it was silica sand. And they would sandblast churches and schools and big facilities. So the one job I will never forget, we had to go to New York City with 10 ton of sand, 100-pound bags, and deliver them to a Catholic church in New York City. So obviously we had to leave like 1 o'clock in the morning to get in there by 3 and get out by 6 or before the traffic came. So we get up there and it's just my dad and I, and usually we could unload the truck without much problem. So what we do is one of us would be up at the top and we throw the 100-pound bag to the tailgate. The other person would grab it, take it, and then go 3-4 steps and drop it. Well, the Catholic church, you had to go up 3 steps into the vestibule and drop it. Oh my God, Anthony, that was the hardest job I'd ever had, and my dad too. I mean, it was just wow. It's a difference from going, just 2 or 3 dropping or 2 or 3 raising and going up. It's like wow.
And 100 pounds is 100 pounds.
It is. You're right. No matter how you cut it, that's not a light thing.
No.
It was like one of the toughest jobs I ever had with him. But he loved what he did. He started his own business at 19, and he was actually involved with the Smiths down on the boulevard.
Oh yeah, with the concrete.
Right, exactly. He was friends with them, and they got started that way. In fact, it's interesting. Steve Walters, my friend, is a couple booths over. We were talking on the way in. I don't know if you ever knew this guy, but my dad told me about a fellow that was in the Smith area down where Smith's Concrete was. His name was George I. George. I said, what mother would name your name George? Right. Like your last name was Frank, you named your kid Frank. But this guy's name was George I. George, and we were just talking about him, and all that stuff. And it was really interesting. But he was, in fact, there was a tie with him and Jennifer Webb McCrae's dad. There was that type of thing. So It was a pretty neat story. And of course, I don't know, you're young. Did you ever go to Men's restaurant when they were still
sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, they were my aunt and uncle.
Okay.
In fact, my middle name is after my Uncle Franklin. And that's where then the Smiths, the Hennesses, the Georges, they were all in that area.
Dougie Menz is on the zoning board.
Oh, is he?
Or planning. One of our land use boards.
That's great.
Yeah, as well.
Good people. They really
still referencing basketball, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, does he really? That's good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That reminds me of my cousin Joey Baruffi, right? Who told me the one time, and it was true. We're doing this show, and I'm talking about you, talking about all the people, Corella, all the people who were in his area, too. I said, boy, and I genuinely do, folks. I really, really like this man and all the other people I was talking about. So he goes, Jim, what do they all have in common? I said, they're all Italian, and I love them. And that is true. I don't think I know an Italian person. I got Skip Felici. I mean, that's your cousin. I know.
Yep.
There's so many wonderful people, and they are so generous and so caring and give back to the community, give back to charities. I mean, I'll bet you half the place the other night when we were at the fundraiser were probably Italian people.
No doubt.
And that's what makes Vineland, makes such a wonderful community, is the support that each other, give each other, and what they've been able to do. And of course, the people of Vineland are smart because they elected this man as your mayor. And I'll tell you what, when you look at what you have here, in fact, Mayor Millville and I were talking about how messed up the Millville form of government is. I tried when I was the mayor to get like Vineland and Bridgeton, where you have a mayor and you have a council.
Right.
In Millville, you don't know who's going to be the mayor. You don't have it. It's just does not work, in my opinion. But I've never been there again, so it doesn't matter. But, it's really a tribute to what you're able to do. I mean, you think about what Mayor Fanucci has in the background. We're talking about working as a kid and stuff, but you got into your business, you have the success there, you manage people, and those type things. That's what you need for somebody that's going to be a mayor. It makes sense, to have the time. And I know you put a lot of time in. I did too. And I had a business and I've managed people for years and years. So it was sort of a natural transition. I'm sure you find that too. And and I know. I mean, we could list all the wonderful people that you've got. You've got some great ones from Millville, that zoning department. Oh God, I love Derek Leary and Joy and Rhonda and all those people. And even what do you call it? The head guy.
Matt Rabbi.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
He really does. But I mean, I told this story when Jane Janarone and I were flipping houses. We did them in Vineland. Super people. Anything, whatever you want, we'll take care of you. And so if you're looking to do some development, come to Vineland. It's the place to develop.
Listen, we're a business-friendly environment. That was the big goal for me when I took office. Was to have a cleaner city, a more sustainable city, to have a business-friendly city, to have staff that really wanted to be going the extra mile for the consumer here all the time, and the taxpayer. And listen, we always have work to do. There's always room for improvement, but by and large, we get a lot accomplished. I mean, and some of the previous administrations, their focuses were different. I'm not really sure what they were, but they were definitely different than ours. We're very infrastructure driven. We want to have a quality of roadway here that is way better than it's been in decades.
Look at what you've done with West Landis Avenue. Oh my goodness, all the growth and the infrastructure.
We have one patch left to pave, and then we will have paved from 55 all the way down the main road.
Yeah, right. I know when I hit Main Road, I'm coming up, it's all nice and paved as well.
So and that's a big deal for us. I mean, even improvements to City Hall. And have you been around City Hall lately?
I haven't.
I would encourage you just to take a ride around the block, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we re-landscaped. We, had to preserve the concrete on the building, so we preserved and we painted.
Oh, that's good.
We've matched it up to the police building that was new. We have lettered City Hall, so now it's the municipal building. It just doesn't look like a giant concrete structure in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, I was never real impressed with that.
No.
But it's better than Millville's. Millville was even uglier.
It's tough.
I don't know what the hell they did.
We put new LED lights outside so you can see better at night. So when people are coming out of nighttime meetings, they can see in the parking lots, the sidewalks, the building steps. They're high efficiency, so they're very low power usage, and they're way brighter. But they shine on the building in the right places now, where before you just had lights that were randomly there and you had that shadow effect, and it just didn't look very good. Now it's a way more professional environment. It's people come there and like, wow, your City Hall's amazing. Yeah, you have beautiful green grass and you have plants out there. There's mums, and we're trying to do things seasonally. We keep our water. We have that outdoor fountain on the steps. We'll be shutting that down pretty soon because winter's coming. But that thing is kept well all year long. And I mean, but we want people to be impressed when they come, because this is the Capitol building of the city.
Yeah.
So we've done that.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I have to take a ride by because it's got a lot. That's wonderful to hear. It really is that it's being improved, and it's just. Well, speaking of improvements, I was telling you earlier today. I went to the dermatologist, Dr. Coyle Conley, who you said you've known for years. My first time going there, and. I think Mark Middleton was my person I saw. Very, very nice man from Vineland area, and we were talking about it. But I didn't realize that it's Chestnut Commons it's called?
Yeah, that's what they're calling it, yes.
Yeah, it's off Landis Avenue.
Yeah, it's more Landis than it is Chestnut, but yes, exactly.
But that was really nice. I mean, was that part of the Elwyn Institute?
So there was a lot of things were there, but they didn't use those buildings. They got run down a little bit. So this company came in, purchased it from Elwyn, and started to refurbish everything and have put some good tenants in there.
Yeah. In fact, this was funny because I'm heading to my appointment, which was at 3:10. It's about 20 to 3, and I get a call from them. And they told me where they were because I thought they were over next to Dr. T on Sherman Avenue. That's where they had been. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I'll head over there. But it was nice. It really looks nice. Again, another great improvement for the city. And, I thank God for Vineland because I actually was I tell you what, folks, I've been in the Spirit Hospital. That's why I wasn't on the last couple shows with the mayor. I got to tell you, Amy, Man, Sue, and the people there, the board of directors, God bless you all. Whoever hires that staff deserves a medal. You've got the best staff I've ever met. I've had 3 stints in that hospital over the last year or so. Every single time, people have been wonderful. And this is a funny story. Glenn Lilly, you know Glenn.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Super guy. So Glenn had a problem. He was in Atlantic Care. So he said, Jim, I was in Atlantic Care for 7 days. And he said, those 7 days, I had 4 roommates. I said, you know what, Glenn? I was in Spirit 2 times for 9 days, and I didn't have any roommates because it's a private room. Thank you.
Yes.
It's wonderful. I mean, I really liked having the privacy. Your family can come in.
They've done a real good job here.
They have, haven't they? Yeah.
And yes, Amy really should be applauded in what she's doing because she's really changed the direction of the hospital.
Yeah.
Her vision is different, than John D'Angelo's was.
Yeah.
She's engaged more in the community. Yeah. I give her a lot of credit.
I do too.
A very strong leader.
She really has been. We're talking with Mayor Anthony Fanucci on Insight, and we'll be back at the Queen restaurant. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the fabulous food they have here at the Queen and their specials. And we'll be back right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Complete Care has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high-quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network, ready when you are.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Advanced robotics, experienced physicians. When it comes to minimally invasive surgery, we don't play around.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Yeah. Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Jim Quinn along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci for the great city of Vineland, where lots and lots of things are going on. And you know what, I have to give credit to the Forsiskis, Gary and Sandy. Talk about beautiful, the building used to be the South Vineland Tavern, the dump. Take a look at that, folks. Again, the mums, beautifully landscaped. It makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It does. Really it shows pride in ownership, right?
Yeah.
Pride in the community, pride in the business.
Yeah.
I think it's the right look for your staff and not just your customers, because when your staff sees how much you're putting into something and that, there's so much care, it changes the morale.
Yeah.
It changes their vision sometimes.
Right.
You can't fix it for everybody, but a lot of people look at that and say, geez, you know what? The grass is always green, it's always cut.
Yeah.
Not as it cut, it's edged and weeded. And the flower beds are weeded, or, wow, look, they've got seasonal flowers going on. These things are noticeable, and it gives people a sense of pride.
Yeah.
But Gary and Sandy have done a great job with that business, and their son, Evan, who's in it now.
Well, one of her sons is Dr.
Gary.
Dior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I probably have had him because I've been to Dior so many times.
he was a attending physician for my mom not that long ago when she was brought in. And he was really an angel.
I'm sure. Well, he's got great parents. I'll say that.
No doubt. So, I mean, he really was something special. And, you know, and it's tough, you know, my mom's a little bit older and, you know, and was nervous and didn't know what was going on and, you know, why she wasn't feeling well. And, you know, it was a problem. And the last thing, you know, she wanted to do was be there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He was fantastic for my mother. And just really went above and beyond. And I hear that not just obviously from my experiences, but from others that have encountered him in the ER and what a great job he has done.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I've been on a bad roll because I've been in the ER and in the hospital, but this is a funny, I don't know if I told this before, but there was a restaurant, Michael's Mediterranean.
Yes.
And the Milbourne fellow took it over. Unfortunately, I think it's closed now. But I was in there one night with Jane Janarone.
I remember this.
Having dinner. And I'm not, because I've had this sleeve surgery that helped me lose weight. I can't eat pasta, I can't eat rice and that type of stuff because once it hits the stomach and chicken pot pie, I can't eat that either. But the one night, the Milbourne guy was a very nice man. He said to me, "Jim, you got to try my mac and cheese." I said, "Okay, I'll try it." I ended up in the hospital because it didn't react well.
Yeah.
But your people came, the rescue squad came. They were great. In fact, this was funny. Talk about knowing so many people. When the rescue squad came, I passed out. Actually, what happened was this whole thing. First time in my life, I actually passed out at the table. So when they came, I was awake then, and I wanted to make sure I got my cell phone and all that stuff. And Rob Smith was one of your people that was working. And we got in the ambulance. I said, "You're Robert Smith, right?" He said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "I did your wedding, right?" He said, "Yes, you did." So, I mean, at least he knew I was with it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Come back from it, but again, I mean, you know, and I have to thank the Millville Rescue Squad because I've had a couple of instances where they've taken me to the hospital as well. I tell you, don't get old there. Stay young.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's brutal. You know, they always said, "Oh, you know, it's not too bad," and you know, until you hit your 40s, and you hit your 40s, well, you know, you start to feel some things differently. Then you hit your 50s, you start to feel some things differently. And I'm just in my 50s, and I'm thinking, oh boy, the way I feel these days, is it going to get worse when you hit 60 something?
I hope so.
I'm just grateful to be on the right side of the grass.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
That's true. Me too, especially at my age. It's funny because everywhere I go, I'm the oldest, so it's you know, one of those things.
Well, you're like the living legend too. You know, it's like you're the local celebrity, and people say, "Oh my God, there's Jim Quinn."
It was funny when he said that today. I did. It's the first time I ever went to this dermatologist, Conway.
Yep.
And the fellow's name was Middleton, very nice man. And went to St. Augustine Prep, in fact. And he goes, "You are the real Jim Quinn." I said, "Yeah, I am." That's nice of you to say. But luckily, we've been able to do the programming on Channel 22, Channel 7 at one time when you were a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went to Channel 2. And then to 22 about.
Didn't you have the auction show too back in the day?
Yes, yep.
Was it auction time?
Auction time, yeah. In fact, speaking of that, one of my very, very best customers was Lorraine Dorello. And Lorraine is Joe Dorello's mom, and she just passed away at 91.
Oh,
sweetheart.
Sorry to hear that.
She was my best customer, wonderful person, raised some great kids, and Joe and his two sisters, you don't get any better than they are. But I wanted to certainly send my condolences.
Yeah, our sincere condolences to
yeah.
To
That show. Well, you know, it was interesting. That show. Now, again, folks, you got to realize this is in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. It was there were only 12 channels. Now there's 5,000 channels. So there were 12 channels, and we would sell in 1 year in Millville. I did $500,000 retail.
Wow.
In Vineland, I did about 400,000. I was over where what's the guy's name? He used to have the lumber yard there, right next to Team Nissan. It was a couple buildings down. That's where we were in Vineland. It was Korf Lumber.
Korf, yeah.
That's right. He was my landlord. So we ran a place there. Tom Gale was like the guy who brought the stuff in, Vineland fellow. And then we had one in Bridgeton next to Weber's Candy Store. And then eventually, Joe O'Donnell and I built a cable system in Morrisville Commercial and all that. We had a facility there in Haleyville. So every night we'd be at 4 locations selling merchandise throughout the whole county. And really people love the show, especially the women. They get addicted to it. It was before QVC.
Well, think about it. You were way ahead of the game.
I was, yeah. I should have
patented that somehow,
exactly.
Right? Or whatever you do, trademarked it.
Yeah.
Now, Joe O'Donnell, any relation to Ed? Who was the insurance man?
No, Joe was super guy. He was the manager of Teleprompter Cable. And what happened was I got a call from Teleprompter in the early 70s, 73, something like that. They said to me, would you be interested in doing a nightly newscast? I said, yeah. I asked, I worked at the radio station. They said, yeah, Jim, go ahead, you can do that. So I did a nightly newscast with Bobby DiPaolito and Glenn Lilly would come in and do certain segments to us. We get it. And Mickey Brandt got involved. So we did that. And then, in fact, it was funny because it was near Sacred Heart, the old car wash garage. Remember that?
Yeah,
car
sure.
Wash? Well, they were building, their offices were up front, and I'm in the back of the car wash garage doing the television stuff.
How about that?
And then they said to me, Jim, we really can't make any money. We can't sell it. Would you like to take over and lease the channel? So they let me lease it for like $100. I said, yeah, okay. So then eventually I was going, and I'll tell you, it was interesting too, because I'm looking at them saying, what do I do? I had religious programming sold for Sunday, and Vineland football, Millville football, they would sell. Other than that, there was nothing else to do.
Right.
So that's when I came up with the idea of the auction time show, figuring that gives me, it was on 6 to 11, Monday through Thursday. I think Friday we're on like 8 o'clock till 11. But it worked out really well. And then eventually all locations, 4 locations. And
that's live television, right?
It was, absolutely, yeah.
That had to be tough. I mean, how do you control, like, do you have a delay?
I had to. You're right there. I couldn't do it live because people call and say blank you out on the air. So what I had a headphone on, and I had a multi-phone. I had 3 channels on it, or 3 lines on the phone. So I could hear the people, and I could talk with them, but the public couldn't hear them because you had the wise guys that would call and say obscenities and things.
I'm sure you did.
Watch that. But it worked out okay, and I would, like Mrs. Dorella call. I say, "Hi, Mrs. Dorella, good to hear from you." And, talk to the different people. I got a lot of friends that way. I, actually really enjoyed talking to the people and doing the things we did, and it worked out really well. So it was a good success. And then the other thing that I started that was very, very successful was the live car shows. We used to do Novik, we used to do Williston, used to do Toyota Vineland, all these different places. And Ivan Nelson, who's the general manager of Williston, great guy, and Vineland, he said to me, Jim, when we would do the car shows, we would sell 40 to 50 cars on the weekend for the car shows. It's like, I'd love to do them again because that's where it was good money. But everybody now, you just grab your phone, go online, I'm looking for such and such, and it pops up.
I'm wondering if you could do it, on social media.
Well,
like Facebook Live. And
I've talked to Ivan. I need to get a car dealer. If any car dealer, used car dealer wants to try it, I'll give you a great price. Because you're right, now you've got the benefit of social media, Facebook and YouTube, besides Channel 22.
Yeah.
So,
all your followers.
Yeah, and this was interesting. Ryan produces the Millville football games for me, and he was saying last year, Millville, of course, won the state championship. So they had, 12 games, or they had a lot of games because the regular season was like 9 or 10. They played 2 or 3 more.
Right.
So anyway, he said, Jim, look at this. And he looked at the number of hits we had. Ryan, it was over 500,000, right? Over 500,000 people, viewed at least portion of the game. And even when we do, we did the Vineland, and it was wonderful. Vineland was really cooperative with us. We did the Vineland and Millville girls field hockey a few years ago because Millville's field wasn't cut out for it and all that. So Vineland let us come up. We did, and Tony Trongone, super guy, did a game. Super guy. Another good Italian guy.
And, I like Tony a lot.
Anyway, we got to do the game, and it was Claudia McCarthy's one of her last games. She had 50 years of coaching. Well, her granddaughter played on the team, and Millville won it 2 or 3 to nothing, whatever it was. But one of the goals was scored by her granddaughter, which set the all-time Millville record. So she brought the puck or the ball over and gave it to her grandma. We had that on TV.
Right.
But we got thousands of views on that, too. I mean, even the midget football, the same thing. It's people want to see, and it works out. But you're right. I mean, honest to goodness, the Facebook and the YouTube are phenomenal ways to reach people. Because I know myself, I'll watch on the phone. If I'm doing, I'm somewhere, I look at the phone. And
we post a lot of city stuff to the YouTube channels that we use, and that's great. And of course, we have our My Vineland app now. So we have an app that you can pretty much do anything you want with the city and engaging the city and interacting. Part of our smarter city concept that we've implemented. It's just the next stage of what we've done over the last 7 years and becoming more advanced technologically here in the city of Vineland, and how we directly interact with our residents and our business owners and other consumers. So the day of technology is here.
It is. Well, I tell you though, I got to give you credit. I love your commercials that I see on different channels. I mean, because Vineland is reaching out into all South Jersey and the Delaware Valley and saying, "Hey, this is what we have." And there's so many wonderful things in the city of Vineland. The electric utility is controlled by the city. The price of land is still reasonable, although in the industrial park area, they have to get some more land up there because it's sold out.
Yep.
Which is a wonderful problem to have. Yeah. John Ruga and Lori doing all the business they're doing in South Vineland. And you know what was interesting? The Millville Chamber executive director, Jerry Cabal. Yeah, he came up to me at the event Saturday night. He said, "Jim, isn't this exciting?" I said, "Yeah," about the golf course. And he said, "Think about it. This is going to bring thousands of people from all over the country to see the golf course." And you got Tiger Woods laying it out, Mike Trout, one of the owners, along with John and Lori Ruga. And it's going to be everything he does is first class. You know that. So, and then you were talking about they're potentially going to build some other facilities down there, right?
Yep, some professional offices and some retail out that way. And, it's truly going to be a destination unto its own. And even for people that are not the golf enthusiast, they're talking about a shooting range. They're talking about, some other things there, which would be great, recreational type of components for us here in the city of Vineland. And furthermore, again, the economic impact alone and the assistance that it will bring us financially is incredible. You're going to have restaurants and gas stations and convenience stores and anything you can imagine. The mall's right there. It should help the mall and assist that, and the stores there, where people will be shopping and just doing different things. And again, I tell people that the hospitality jobs that are going to be there, that'll be, and listen, on a private course like that, they're going to pay well. Because they want the best possible people for the people that are spending that kind of money to be there. And it's super important that people realize that, especially while we're in a time where expenses are rising all over the country. We have no control over it, unfortunately, locally. We're stuck in the same boat as everybody else, individually, where we're fighting these expenses and this inflation. But something like that, the assistance that it will give economically to those businesses, to these residents, it'll help, ease the burden in many cases. Think about it. They're going to have fine dining there, so you're going to have linens, right? Right. You're going to have, and it might be the simplest of things, but the amount of equipment that goes into a facility like that, these distributors of this type of equipment that are going to be pushing out. And then, of course, you're going to be manicuring lawns. And it's the simplest thing from oil for a lawnmower to a lawnmower blade to
hopefully they'll go over to Latour Hardware.
Right. I mean, when you think all the ancillary benefits that people sometimes just don't think about. Remember when TEPS was over there, right? Right. Yeah. You can get anything fixed anytime over there, and if you couldn't find it, you went over there. I got it.
That's true.
It's like going to see Joey Rubin. Joe, I need ABC. Give you that look for a minute. Goes in the back, and how he finds things there is
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. But Joey finds it, and he's got it. I mean, there's not a time I don't step in there or go see Vic, at Latour's that you can't get what you need.
Well, that's what I love doing that, because I don't want to go to the big box store. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll go in and say, "This, I got it, Jim. I'll go get it for you." And boy, talking about Vic, he is one of the most generous donators of his time. He and Lori, they just always, in fact, he was on recently with a major for the Salvation Army. They're promoting the turkey drives and all that kind of stuff. And there's so many wonderful people like that. And did you know his dad? You're too young.
No,
I'll tell you, his dad, what a wonderful, wonderful man he was. I was actually speech therapy for Easter Seals. It was one of my first jobs, and he was on chairman of the board. And of course, he was a county freeholder. Really, really good guy. And of course, I'll tell you what's interesting too. His son, Vic's son, Mike, is one of the most popular teachers at Millville High School.
How about that?
The kids love him. He's a biology teacher, I think. But and he's the PA announcer for normal football games. But you look at that whole family, it's like, wow.
Well, Vic is just such a great guy,
isn't he? Yeah, I mean, but when you think about it, again, I don't know, maybe he's Italian too. I mean, I just find the people that I know in Vineland to be wonderful, wonderful people. I saw, I don't know if I doubt he's Italian, but George Wallace from Wallace Supply.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I see him at the baseball games.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's neat. And of course, last night I saw Rich Allen and his son. Were coming out of the game and stuff like that. Yeah. But folks, I got to tell you, I went to last night's game. I share my tickets with Bob Connor, who we are, Vince Agency. And tonight's his night to go. I said, I don't want to go 2 nights in a row. I think you would mention, it's sort of like going to a rock concert. It's so loud, and you don't sit because everybody stands the whole time. So as much as I love it, I can miss it once in a while.
The announcer said last night, as I'm watching the game, this is the only stadium you don't need seats in.
Yeah.
He said the Phillies fans are up the whole time.
Boy, that's the truth.
And it got to a point in the 7th where it got a little hairy.
Yeah.
And they said, well, a few people took a seat to relax for a couple minutes, but then they panned the audience, and 30,000 more are standing up.
Yeah, that's the truth.
But it was it's a great time of year, athletically.
October's been great. For
the Phillies have been doing well. I know the Eagles lost this weekend, but although they made a good acquisition today, they picked up Julio Jones, who's a wide receiver that played for the Atlanta Falcons. Really good receiver.
Oh, that's good.
They picked him up, and that'll be probably third wide receiver option, but that'll be good for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
The Flyers are playing, and they're looking okay right now, and then you'll have the Sixers going strong before long.
It is amazing. All 4 major sports are playing right now. Goes to the Phillies because they made the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Union who did well this year.
Yeah, that's right.
They played hard. The Philadelphia Wings and the lacrosse team, the pro team, who recently have just entered into a strategic type of partnership with Inspira.
Oh, no kidding.
They're doing a thing with Sticks for Students for these young kids to get involved in these club type of lacrosse teams.
Oh, that's good.
Which was great, and they had a little announcement yesterday. I think it was yesterday, or did they? Wait, what's today? It's Tuesday. So yesterday at Inspira.
Oh, that's great.
Boy, my days are crashing into each other.
I know what you mean.
And it was great. The president of the Wings was down. One of their star players was down. They have a lot of folks that have been involved in these programs. And Dave Kahn, who was a former Millville officer,
I know Dave, sure.
is involved with the youth sports on this. Here, I saw him yesterday at the event, and I was listening to all the positive that comes from it. And it's infectious when the athletics are rising, the morale goes up. These kids have something to strive for. It helps them as students get their heads back in their books, get their priorities straight, and realize that I can't mess up.
Right.
I can't make this mistake. I can't make this poor choice, or I'm letting my teammates down, or I'm depriving myself of contributing into the athletic arena, whatever it may be, whatever their sport of choice is. But it's just all great things. And Jennifer Webb McCrae was there, representing the prosecutor's office and some of her folks, which was important because it shows positive reinforcement.
Yeah. I want to extend my condolences to Jennifer also. Her father passed away recently. Yes. So Jennifer, my condolences to you on that. I'm sure he had to be a wonderful man because he's got a wonderful daughter, that's for sure. She does a great job there. We're talking with Mayor Anthony Fanucci on the Insight program. We'll be back to wrap up the show right after these messages.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Changing colors. Life's colors change daily for each of us. We go from happy to sad, anxious to peaceful. There's events we endure and ones we enjoy. The colors of life are always changing, but there's one that's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Come, let us introduce you to Him, New Life Church, the church of many colors.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves. and making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Complete Care has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network, ready when you are.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to the Queen Restaurant in Vineland at Lincoln and Landis. I do want to mention that the new specials, it's still fabulous. 2 meals for $30. That's $15 a meal. And that includes soup, salad, entree with vegetable. In fact, I'm getting one to take home. It's the turkey with stuffing. I'm getting broccoli as my vegetable. And I'm getting a salad instead of soup or salad. I'm getting the salad. And I'm getting tapioca pudding for dessert. And that's $16 because it's one person. But my God, Mayor, that's fabulous price. And the food is delicious.
Yeah, the food is excellent here. Service is always very good.
Yeah.
Place is clean.
Yeah.
And for anything, where in the world are you going to eat for $15 a person a meal like
Look,
that?
if you go to a fast food place.
And you know how much food they give you.
I know.
It's really,
I
it's
end
like
up getting 2 meals. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, it's nice. And they've really, and I know you and I talk about this all the time when we're here, but the amount that they spent in here to really make it look nice.
Absolutely.
You know, people are like, oh, that's a diner. I'm like, not really.
Yeah,
This
is a
really,
restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly a restaurant because you can get really good gourmet type meals here. Excellent food. You know, they've served in the last few years everything, including lobster here.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too. Yeah, we get lobster.
And it was good. I've had it. So I took them up on it when they said, I'm going to order a lobster. And you know what? It was pretty darn good.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, as I look over on the wall, Yilmaz, the owner, said to me, Jim, you think I could get a liquor license in Vineland? In fact, I think it was the night Sandy was filling in for you.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, Yilmaz, I think you'd be better off going to the winery, Cedar Rose Winery, which they did. They have an affiliation with there. They've got all. In fact, Sandy and I one night got the Whitetail Cedar Rose wine. Oh my God, it is delicious. It's the best I've ever had. And Dustin Tarpine and the people at Cedar Rose are great people. So if you want, they have all kind of wine here that you can have with your dinner.
Yep, see it on the wall now.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful display.
Isn't it though? Yeah.
It is really a nice display.
Boy, but like it's a beautiful place. I mean, it's got beautiful paintings on the wall, and it is a restaurant. It's not a diner. It's
Plenty
a
of parking.
Yeah,
parking's never really an issue
no,
here.
You got it on both sides of the building and things like that. So, you know, come up and see it. I mean,
and they're happy to see you when you walk in the door.
Yeah, aren't they?
I come in a lot for breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, if I have like meetings before work or lunchtime, you know, when I need to grab a quick lunch, but I want a good lunch or a healthier option, I'm in here and I could be in and out of here in well under an hour.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I'm not even
Yeah.
pressed for time, so it makes it convenient a lot of times to eat. You know, of course, you know, I take Stace and the kids, and you know, we eat here, you know, for dinner, and they love it. And
don't they get ice cream?
Oh, please, the milkshakes, and they come out in these giant things, and they love it. And I'm like, you know, Daddy has to get a sip here and there just to make sure I'm taste testing it. But yeah, it's fantastic. But they do a great job. We're very fortunate that we have them here on this end of town.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And
they open early.
Yeah.
You know, they're open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
They're open in the morning early for breakfast, and listen, their breakfasts are good.
I'm not a morning person, so I don't know. I never have breakfast.
Yeah.
In fact, when people tell me, I said, I honest to God, folks, I guess, this was interesting. All those years I did that Auction Time show, I was on the air from 6 to 11. So I was a 4 to 12 person, basically. So I get home 11:30, quarter to 12. You don't go to bed at 12 o'clock.
No.
I was up till 2, maybe even 3 sometimes.
By the time you unwind.
Sure, exactly. So I don't invite me to breakfast. Lunch I can maybe make.
That's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I came in for a breakfast meeting with one of my colleagues last week, and I'm easy. I want usually 3 or 4 eggs over medium. I don't want the potatoes. I'm carbon down, right?
Right.
I want a cup of fruit.
Yes, I get that.
And then maybe get like a piece of wheat toast or something to go with it, because you have to have a little bread.
Yeah, sounds good.
And occasionally, like hot Italian sausage, because they have hot Italian sausage. Well, my colleague says, I need a bowl of oatmeal, and I would like the oatmeal, and I would like brown sugar, and I'd like honey and cream. Well, guess what? He gets a bowl of oatmeal. They come out with brown sugar. They come out with honey. They come out with cream. Asked, would you like any fresh fruit? We happen to have some fresh blueberries back there. They come out with a thing of blueberry.
Oh, jeez. Sounds good.
Yeah, so he had his healthier choice, right, for breakfast.
Right.
And I had my bath in cholesterol, even though I didn't have a lot of carbs.
Yeah, I try to avoid the carbs as much as I can.
Yeah,
too.
and but they did a fantastic. It's like, this is really good oatmeal. A lot of places you go, they says they overcook the oatmeal, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't even think to order, oatmeal a lot of places, right? And it was a great breakfast, and they were there, and they're not on top of you where you can't have a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're very attentive. Do you need more coffee? Would you like more of this?
Yeah.
Do you need more juice? Do you need more water? So my hat's off to them and what they do here, and we're very grateful to have them as another successful business here in the city of Vineland.
There's so many wonderful restaurants in the city of Vineland. I mean, we've talked about in the past. The Olympia, you can't find better Greek food. It's fabulous,
It is. Olympia is great.
See it, guys. Thank you. The mayor wants, what would you like to have?
Oh, I guess I'm going to be ordering some dinner myself now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't
just give me one more minute.
Yep.
And then
we're almost done. So. Yeah, but I may. Okay. I'll talk to you.
It's perfect. People are eating. We're talking about food, and I said, you know what? Now I'm getting hungry.
Hi, how are you? There, she's there.
How are you?
Give me one more minute. We're going to wrap up, and then you can talk to you. Well, just about. That's okay.
Fine.
Anyway,
live TV.
You see that we truly believe in the Queen restaurant,
yes,
because Mayor's getting food. I have food ordered and all that kind of stuff. So, come on out and join us sometimes on Tuesdays. Or it varies when we're here, but it's nice to have you.
Monthly, it's great, and and we try to get some friends to come out and support. And we've had a lot of places. We've had a number of all of our colleagues out here, and we'll have to get them out and rolling again in November or December.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a little group out here.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, thank you so much,
Jim. Thank you.
Appreciate it. God bless you, and thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
For the city of Vineland as well. And we thank you, Ryan Narowski. Thanks for producing the show today. And if you get a chance, like I say, the Queen Diner has fabulous food. 2 for $30. 2 people for $30. That's soup, salad, entree, or soup or salad, entree, vegetable, and dessert. I don't know how you're going to beat that. $15? Where are you going to go to get that? I mean, you aren't. And it's a beautiful place. You want to have some wine, you could have that. You could have anything you'd like. But this is a great opportunity. And the servers are the best, I'm telling you. They do a great job, like the mayor said. They're attentive. Anything they can do to help you, they will. And we thank you so much for joining us this evening. For Mayor Anthony Fanucci, I'm Jim Quinn. Have a good night. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.